Okay, I want to talk about Jean-Paul Sartre and his view of the self. He's an existentialist. So we've read Locke, Descartes, Hume, Kant on the self. I want to talk about Sartre now. Sartre is an existentialist. His approach to the self is basically it's a descriptive approach. Descartes was very much influenced by Husserl, a phenomenologist. And there's a little section in the book you read a little about phenomenology, but phenomenology was developed by Edmund Husserl at the beginning of the 20th century. And phenomenology basically is a descriptive, Husserl intended to be a science of essences. The way Sartre developed it, Sartre really wasn't interested in Husserl's obsession with science and certainty and so on. What Sartre was interested in was simply describing human existence as he saw it, not imposing, not getting rid of it in the name of theory. It's very easy, for people who believe in scientific determinism to just get rid of freedom. Oh, there's no free will because everything is determined. Sartre begins with human experience, and definitely the human experience is that we are constantly confronted with making choices. If you want to see yourself as completely determined, you can do that, but Sartre would say that's itself a choice that you make. One of Sartre's famous little statements was that we are condemned to be free. Even when you deny freedom, you choose to deny freedom. So Sartre is an existentialist, and modern existentialism ultimately goes back to Soren Kierkegaard in the 1800s. Kierkegaard is really the father of modern existentialism. And then after Kierkegaard, I guess the next, quote, existentialist type of thinker would be Nietzsche, and then in the 20th century you get Heidegger, Being in Time, then you get Jean-Paul Sartre, Albert Camus. But I want to talk about Sartre today. So Sartre is an existentialism. He tells you in the little selection we read that the main idea behind existentialism is that existence precedes essence. Okay, what does that mean? Think of a table. Before a table is made, the table appears as a concept in someone's mind. Someone decides to make a table. They have an idea of a table in their mind. They know what the table has. The table has a certain function, and they make the table to be able to perform a function. That's why tables are flat and usually have 4 legs, or whatever, 4 legs usually, doesn't really matter. But tables are something flat, they're solid, they're something you can lay papers on or put a lamp on, you can write on. So a table, before a table is made, like here's a table right here, you can't see it, but there's a table right here, I'm touching it right now. My computer's on it. Here's a pen. This pen also has a function. Somebody designed this. Before this pen existed, it was an idea in someone's mind. Existence precedes. For existentialism, our existence is not, we're not like pens and tables. A pen, the essence came before the existence. Somebody had the idea of a pen in their mind, and then they made it. They had an idea of a table. The essence was in their mind, and then they proceeded to make it, and then it existed. That's the idea. Sartre says, basically, we are not things. We are not rocks. We don't have an essence. That's Sartre's that's existentialism. A rock is a rock. Now, nobody designed the rock, okay, so it doesn't always work. Somebody did design this pen. But even if nobody did design a rock is just a rock. It has an essence. You could describe it. A rock is a rock. A pen is a pen. A table is a table. Human artifacts, tables and pens, were actually existed in someone's mind before they were made. Sartre says that human beings have no essence. Another way to put that is human beings have no human nature. This is one of the big debates in science and philosophy about, is there such a thing as human nature? 20 or 30 years ago, there was a famous debate between Chomsky and Foucault, Michel Foucault and Noam Chomsky, on human nature. It's on YouTube, so you can check it out if you're interested. It's an interesting debate. And Chomsky is convinced that we do have a human nature, and language is part of it. Language is built into our structure of our brain. We have a human nature, and you could also say, we have a genome. Our DNA is the same in everybody. So we all, we have a human nature. Everybody gets tired. Everybody gets asleep. You basically know everything about any human being that you see. You can say a lot about that person without even knowing them, because they're human beings. They have a human nature. On the other hand, some people say we don't have a human nature. So Sartre takes the view that we don't have a human nature. We are pure existence. We are not anything. I mean, this pen is a pen. A rock is a rock. An apple is an apple. But to say that I am what I am, Sartre would say he uses the word bad faith. Bad faith. And he also used the existentialism, used the word like inauthentic, bad faith. If you think you are, if I say, who are you? And you say, I'm a teacher, I'm a student, I'm an engineer, I'm a scientist, I'm a physicist, I'm a bus driver. Sartre would say, no, you're not. You're not a bus driver. It's like saying, I am a pen. I am a rock. A rock is a rock. A pen is a pen. A bus driver is a bus driver. That's the idea. I'm a bus driver. I'm a teacher. I'm a student. Sartre would say, no, you're not. To say that you are a bus driver, to identify yourself, I am a bus driver, I'm a teacher, I am a scientist, I am a politician. Sartre would say that's inauthentic. You're looking at yourself as a thing, as an object, with an essence. And Sartre says that's wrong. That's totally wrong. It's not only is it wrong, it's fleeing. It's an unwillingness to face up to the reality of your human existence. Sartre would say you are what you choose to be. And that means, that's what Sartre means by free will, by freedom. You are what you choose to be. There's no one who precedes you, like God, for example. Sartre is an atheist. Sartre believes that to believe in human nature, Sartre would mean you have to believe in God, who created human nature. God had an idea in his mind before he created man, and the idea was the essence, and then he created Adam. He created man. Just like we create cars, we create tables. Before the table exists or the car exists, we have an idea in our mind, and then we create it to fulfill a purpose. So the essence precedes its existence. For Sartre, if God existed, then we would have an essence. We would have a human nature. Our human nature, our essence, would be what God intended us to be. But Sartre says God doesn't exist. There's nothing that created us. There's nothing that intended us to be anything. We just we find ourselves in a world. We're just thrust into a world. Heidegger calls it, we're thrown into a world. Geworfenheit, we're thrown into a world. We just find ourselves in a world, for no reason. Sartre says we are futile passion. We are an upsurge of nothingness. Sartre existentially becomes very dramatic. He's kind of fun to read because he's very dramatic. I mean, he sees existence as anguish, anxiety, perpetual anxiety, perpetual anguish. We are condemned to be free. The anxiety arises because we are nothing. We have to choose every moment what we're going to be. One day I could be a teacher. The next day I can be a criminal. The next day I can do anything. I mean, we don't have any identity. And Sartre says that's very disturbing. The way Sartre puts it is, I am what I am not, and I am not what I am. Descartes would say, I am a thinking being. That's what I am. Locke would say, I am what I think, my memories. I am this continuity of consciousness. Sartre's emphasis is on this idea that we create ourselves. We're nothing. We're this upsurge of nothing. And we have to pretend. We have to choose. We have to leap, like using Kierkegaard's language, we have to leap into existence through choice. We create ourselves. The responsibility is on us, 100%. And Sartre says not only are we responsible for ourselves, we are responsible for everyone. In fact, Sartre goes so as far as to say, if you are in a war, you're engrossed in a war, World War II, whatever, World War I, Vietnam War, you are responsible for that because you are part of a society. You are responsible. It's your war. So for Sartre, we are responsible for everything. You cannot blame anybody. No one is to blame except yourself. If you're depressed, if you're not happy, whatever the situation, you have chosen it. And when Kant says, when Sartre says you've chosen, he's not saying you've consciously chosen things. That's really, we choose all the time, and whether we even are aware of it. Whatever your situation is, you have chosen that situation. And Sartre, I am what I am not what I am. So he gives the example of, think of an alcoholic. The alcoholic says, I'm not an alcoholic. To say that you're not an alcoholic, you're denying what you are. But on the other hand, you shouldn't say you are an alcoholic. You are what you are not, and you are not what you are. You are an alcoholic because you drink. That's your choice. But you are not an alcoholic in the sense that you are a table, or a table's a table, or a rock is a rock. You are an alcoholic because you choose to be an alcoholic. But you are and that way you're responsible for it. So you are, say if you're an alcoholic, I am an alcoholic, but I'm not an alcoholic. I'm not an alcoholic like a table's a table. And I'm not an alcoholic, but I am an alcoholic because I choose to do that, to drink. Anyway, Sartre, as an existentialist, we have no human nature. Existence precedes essence. We're basically, there's nothing that supports us. Life is basically, for Sartre, a futile passion. We're condemned to be free. It's not a very optimistic, fun position. But Walker Percy actually said when Sartre was writing all this stuff in a seminary, he's probably the happiest person in Paris while he was writing all this stuff. So sometimes anyway, that's all I'm going to say about Sartre. To be, we are condemned to be free.